So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
Well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
All right, welcome back to GMA 3. That was Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, not mincing words on the witness stand there, testifying about a romantic relationship with a special prosecutor that she hired in the Georgia election interference case against former President Donald Trump. And she is now not expected to take the stand again today.
Now, Willis is accused by Trump's attorneys of benefiting financially from that relationship, which she denies. If the judge sides with the Trump team, she and Wade could be dismissed from the case. And joining us with more is ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmire. Aaron, let's start with you. There was lots of drama yesterday. So what did we learn from all of this?
Well, we learned that she has a preference for vodka over red wine. We learned that she broke up with Nathan Wade because he once told her that the only thing a woman could do for him is make him a sandwich. But for all of that really raw and at times it felt uncomfortable, cringy, tawdry testimony, we learned that Fani Willis is willing to fight to retain the case of her career against former President Donald Trump and the others. She marched straight into court without being invited, without being called, right as her attorney was trying to convince the judge that she shouldn't have to testify. But she said she'd been pacing in her office and she wanted to sit down and she wanted to confront these attorneys head on. And you saw it there. She said, "I'm not on trial here. You guys are on trial." But how incredibly unusual for a prosecutor to face questions from attorneys whose clients she is trying to put behind bars.
And that's a question for you, Brian. How unusual is it for a DA to testify, to take the stand? And did the defense side, basically accomplish what they set out to do?
It's extremely unusual. You probably won't see it for another lifetime in this context. But in terms of what the defense was trying to do, I think they were successful, but not in the stated goal of trying to discredit Fani Willis to be removed from the case or have the indictment dismissed. But they really did damage her credibility. They added more fuel to the fire as to whether or not she is fit to continue with this case. But I think it's a divided perspective. I think for some people, they took her testimony, for example, of saying that she keeps cash on hand. Don't forget, this is a woman who was born in 1971. When she was born, she would have had to have her husband sign for her to open a bank account. So being raised by a father to say always keep cash on hand made sense. But for some people, that didn't make sense and seemed like she was trying to hide something. And so I think the idea of discrediting her worked, but a lot of people saw strength and vigor in her testimony, and I think it's going to be hard to take her off this case.
Brian, if Trump's team is successful with this argument that they were trying to make, what will happen here?
So if they are successful, and we haven't seen the evidence of that so far, so this is a big hypothetical. If they are successful, then it would be up to an independent group of prosecutors and attorneys in the state of Georgia to select another prosecutor. But don't forget, they wouldn't just be taking over this case, they'd also be taking over Young Thug's YSL RICO case, a very heavy lift that I don't think many people want to do. We'll also probably have to try to appoint a special prosecutor, something similar to what Nathan Wade is. But even that may find difficulties because the going rate for a special prosecutor in Georgia is $68 an hour. So to try to find someone who's going to get paid that little, I know for many that's a lot, but for a special prosecutor or an attorney, that's not a lot of money to step away from your own practice and do this heavy lift. I think at the end of the day, it might be difficult to replace her or even Nathan Wade.
And Aaron, while all of this was going on, President Trump, the former president, was back here in New York for his own hearing. Tell us about that case.
What an extraordinary week. All four of the former president's criminal trials were in a courtroom at some point or another. And yesterday, Donald Trump was here in New York looking at the judge as the judge refused to dismiss a case over a hush payment to porn actress Stormy Daniels, which was meant to hide, in the view of the prosecutor, from the voting public, information about an alleged tryst with her and his efforts to buy her silence. The judge said he wouldn't dismiss the case, and trial is going to be set for March 25th. The defense complained that's going to keep Trump from campaigning, but the judge said, well, that's no legal reason to delay it. And now, for the very first time, a former American president is going to face criminal trial. If he's convicted here in New York, he would be running for president as a felon. And because it's a state case, even if he wins the election, he would not be able to issue himself a pardon.
And I wanted to talk about that, the impact. Talk about the impact that this could have.
Well, we'll see. It's going to test the limits of former President Trump's strategy, which is to incorporate his legal cases into his campaign. I mean, this is it. There are rallies, yes, but most often it's the former president, as you see, in courtrooms, in hallways, making his case that he's being treated unfairly. If now he is convicted, that puts the Republicans in a perhaps uncomfortable position of having a felon at the top of your ticket. Although for Donald Trump, he's so far been able to survive everything he's faced.
What a week. Aaron Katersky and Brian Buckmire, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and good to see you guys as well.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.